Hey guys, welcome to another session of Epic 7. Today I'm going to do something a bit different. I'm going to create my top 10 reasons to play Epic 7. Now, if you guys are, kind of have your ears to the ground and kind of listening to like the news of like the top mobile games right now, Epic 7 has done a wonder in the past couple months. Since their release on global, they have skyrocketed in like some of the best charts. I think they're like number 2 on like top grossing game. I didn't think even like, I don't know, like top 2 in like RPG or something like that. And anyways, it's very crazy. People have been noticing Epic 7. I think multiple media sources have been noticing Epic 7's like kind of like rise in their fame, and have gone in like multiple interviews with them about their current game, where they are right now, and their future plans. So I thought it was a fitting time for me to try to convince you guys, if you guys are catching this on YouTube and you're not usually a subscriber or follower of my content, maybe this will convince you to play. Now, I am never too like pushy when it comes to forcing people to try Epic 7. I'm not begging people to do it, but I really do think it's something to look forward to if you're looking for a new game. And for this top 10, I'm gonna break it up into 2 parts, 5 for each part, and the reason is because I do think that there's so much to cover that you guys will be watching a 40-minute video, and no one will want that. So without further ado, I think I want to start with my first one. So first things first, when I started playing Epic 7, what caught me was this teaser trailer. Obviously, this game is originally made for the Korean fan base. It's a Korean game, Korean developer. And when I first saw the trailer of the global announcement, I was just utterly amazed by the quality of animation. So my top 10, number 1 would be the visuals in general. Now, when I watched the trailer, it was a montage of people, like the characters and the heroes doing their skills. Of course, there's the voiceover and the music to really hype you up. But it was like watching an anime. It was like watching an animation, like you would see, and you were just like kind of blurring the line between what is actually gameplay and what is actually just like baked in animation. And it turns out a lot of it was gameplay, which was really surprising for me. And so for the visuals, I would say, like, I would break it down to 3 categories. Artwork in general, so like that includes character design, art style, and just every single thing you see on screen, I would consider it artwork. Animation is absolutely amazing. I recently did some reading on this recent Taiwan interview with the developers for Epic 7, and they were saying how much work they actually put into their artwork. So apparently it takes them about 3 months to kind of create a hero, create a character. That includes like conceptual artwork, all the way to the 3D modeling, and then the animation, tuning it, hand animating. I'm going to show some gameplay as well. If you're new and watching this, I'm going to show some gameplay and show you an example of what the animation is I'm talking about. And apparently it's hand-drawn, frame-by-frame animation, colored, etc. If you're looking at the heroes right now, these ones are actually either fully modeled in 3D. I went to Luna, I started laughing because the guys on stream made me want to say this. Either fully modeled in 3D or parts of it are. You can see that some of the parallaxing and perspective rotation changes on like the armor pieces, etc. They're not really easy to get smooth animation if you're doing a 2D hand drawn. I come from animation and graphic design background, so I pretty much know it's almost impossible. And the interview confirmed that they have been modeling it as well. Now, the guys on stream wanted to say that one of the things that attracted them to the game, even myself, I will say, I guess, admit it, because they're gonna get me to admit it anyway, is the physics. Specifically, I don't want to say it, man. It sounds really really bad. Jiggle physics. There you go. I said it. All right. So a lot of the, obviously there's a lot of female heroines that are like pretty, you know, there's a selling point to them. So like this one, for example, this is insane. I was explaining, like, the physics don't even actually make sense. The physics don't even actually make sense. People on stream are laughing. Anyways, okay, so the artwork, the visuals, and is incredible. And I also say that the special effects are really good too. It's so amazing what they did in this game. I couldn't believe this is a mobile game. You can imagine this as like a full console platform, on a full console platform, and it would still hold its own. It's like it's not lacking any quality. Yes, maybe they have to upscale some graphics for, like, you know, bigger TVs or whatever, 4K, but I don't think they even need to. It's honestly really good. I'm gonna do a really quick run here to kind of wrap up the visuals aspect of my top 10. I'm gonna go with Badzilla and his haste. I'm gonna bring a team that can show off more animation, and then that way we can get started here. Let's see. Yeah, sure, this is a good team. Let's go. The guys on stream are laughing at me. He's like, why you should play Epic 7.1 jiggle physics.
I'm excited.
Okay, so this is what I mean. So all heroes, if they are 4-star or 5-star innate, have what we call an S3 animation, which is usually what we call skill 3 or skill number 3. This is generally the most expensive skill, as in it does the most for your hero. It has the animation, of course, and it has a cooldown timer that is longer than any other skill, generally. And so I'm just gonna play a couple and notice the visual effects. So visual effects includes like particles, glows, all that kind of stuff, along with the animation. You can already see like the particle effect on the skill that I'm highlighting down here. That's actually really good. There's tracing of the particles itself. So I mean, the particles are actually generated in real time. So that's pretty cool. You don't see that everywhere in every game.
Can you hold out for more?
Scream for me.
So notice the effects here. It's just incredibly like immense. Now early on, I've heard a lot of complaints saying that you know, the animations are too long. Can you like skip the animations? I don't know, man. I'm kind of getting used to them. I really think that they're actually really solid, and I actually want to keep them. Like look at that kind of epic hit there.
Show you how it's done.
This is a recent hero that I pulled.
My sword of light.
So even in some places, like look, when you're collecting loot like that, all those particles shining, you really feel really rewarded in doing it. You notice that little that text, that headline that comes on when it says like battle encounter, like that, like enemy encounter, that kind of stuff is like incredibly well designed. Like, you know, a lot of people might overlook that, but it really adds to the full experience of the game. It's amazing. It's amazing. So you can open this chest here, you get that item pop up, go to the top. It's like all the glows. It's very well thought out.
Is it time for magic? Entertain me, please.
And most of the time they're S2. So what I did was their skill 2 have also minor animations as well. So it's like really good bang for buck.
Don't be scared.
In terms of just like design. So I'm gonna do this here. Just kill this off this guy.
It's time to draw my sword.
Like that animation is just like really cool. They really get what makes like anime and animation like really good. Like elongating frames, stretching out to exaggerate certain motions. Needless to say, they just have a really good look at that. Like, so when I'm doing this thing called the soul burn, it increases the power or of the skill, power or the effect of the skill. And look at that, the particle change on it. Like, I don't know if you guys like noticed this on stream before. Look at that. That's real life generated 3D particles right there. So the second thing I wanted to touch upon, and that was number one. Second thing, number two reason, I think it would be the sound. I'm gonna run this one more time here. And I actually didn't use Badzilla. Let me actually use Doppels. I'll use Doppels. And I'm gonna actually swap her in. So you can swap in your friend units at certain places. Otherwise, I should have used Badzilla's Haste's animation as well. Haste has a really cool animation.
I've been waiting for
So
this
let me
moment.
tag in.
Shall we go? This is my justice.
Thanks for the friend points, says Badzilla. Yeah, no problem. So another thing I wanted to touch upon as we're doing this anyway, is the sound. Sound is number two. So for me, you know, when I'm playing a game, yes, content is important, but I also want to enjoy the whole experience of playing the game. And I would say the sound design is absolutely amazing.
Ashes to ashes, dust to
I
dust.
do know in a game that I played previously, and now people on the stream, and if you know me from YouTube, you know that which game I played previously. They actually shared sound clips during different skills. So for example, let's say they have a sound that means to dispel a buff. That sound would be replayed over and over on every single skill that has a dispel effect. If you listen closely, you would hear it. Now I'm not sure, you know, I can't talk about like other games, but for this game, 100%, every single hero, every single action that I've listened to has a different and unique sound clip, which means
Shall we clean up?
they spent the time not just to cater the visuals, but the audio as well. Every single skill, every single slice you hear, so all sword users, they can have some slices and hacks. They have a different sound to it. All spear users have some kind of thrusting sound. They're all different, all of them. Yes, someone can say that, well, they just kind of morph current, you know, current sounds, but they still put in the effort to do it. So every single hero you get feels more valuable because you feel that
If they won't get out of the way,
they're completely
we'll cut our way
unique. Now the voiceover is another thing. So sound effects, the voiceover I think is fantastic. A lot of people that I know, they don't even play with the sound on.
Do you have
But the
nothing you
English
can say?
voices specifically, I
Leave it to me.
could only touch upon the English voices because I've been playing it for the longest. I tried to play the Korean voiceover, but I'll only say the English. They've hired some pretty good voice actors, and of course, you know, with so many heroes in the game, they do share some voice actors here and there. They're also constantly updating like voice clips for heroes that are released that that have voice clips right away. So they're always updating it and giving it to them, and if there's enough voice clips for it to feel that the hero is always interacting differently, it's very, very good. Yeah, there's a couple Badzilla is mentioned here. There's a couple voices that may get annoying over time. I would agree. But again, it adds to the experience, right? Because then you get some people that you're really annoyed with and some people that you really like, right? So for example, Charles, this old man that I've been using so far, his voice is really good. Of course, shared among a couple other heroes, but his voice is really cool. He has this line, he's just like, correct your posture. And Taro was telling me on stream, like every time he hears him say that, he actually corrects his posture. So he's like, he's the hero that keeps on giving. I found that really funny. He said that on Discord. Another thing was the background music. The background music is absolutely amazing. There is obviously limited background music tracks. There is plans in this game to expand the game. Like so there's a story line and there's a continent that you're on right now, which I would actually quickly show you. And there are different background musics per area. Sometimes it's shared, but it's still pretty good, and every single score, every single track is absolutely amazing. If you actually have like really good headphones and you actually play it, they do have, I do believe they have some pretty good sound support. Let me quickly check here. No, not what I was thinking. I thought it was like some surround sound. But when you actually put on your headphones and you listen to the music plus the skills, it's actually really, really good. Tara's laughing at my mimic. He's like, nice mimic, correct your posture. Okay, so number 3 I want to touch upon, and I think this is very important. If you are a free-to-play player and you're coming into this game, do not be scared. I would say this game is one of the most free-to-play friendly gacha games. Well, obviously, let me put this way. Most friendly free-to-play game that is one of the highest grossing games. All right, that says a lot about this game. Now, I will say that I am not pure free-to-play. Well, actually, no, I'm not free-to-play whatsoever. Now, there are a ton of people in my guild who are absolutely free-to-play. They might, some of them, like mid-tier players, might spend like $5 for like this daily reward pack. Okay, but generally, it's very good. I want to say this. So pulling and summoning isn't everything. So, and again, not to bash on this previous game I used to play, but again, if you do know me, you know which game I played. Their whole emphasis on the game is pulling, summoning. And to make any single hero or unit or character meta, you needed to pull multiple copies of that same exact unit, which, you know, generally gacha rates are like from like 1 to 5%, generally average about 3% for pulling what we call a 5-star or rare hero. Now depending on the these guys are teasing me. They said I want to say that name so badly. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to bash on any other games, but I'm just saying in general, this is like, there are other games like the game I wanted to mention that really emphasize on pulling. This game you don't need to. Now a lot of people early on when they start playing Epic 7, it's like, oh yeah, the gacha rates are so low, I'm never gonna try this game, man. Like QQ, man, Cry Me a River. Seriously, you have no idea what you're missing out. The only reason why you would cry about the rates on this game is because you think that the in-game economy in this game works like every other game. I will say you're 100% wrong. There are tons of people making awesome content on YouTube, taking on end game content with 3-star based heroes. So for the sake of just explanation, in case other games, you might be coming from other games or not experienced with it, 3-star natural 3-star heroes are the lowest in rarity, and then 4-star is like mid-tier, and then 5-star is like, you know, actually good. You'll see like some 6-star units. That's when you promote them. That's a game grinding part aspect. But when you're pulling for actual heroes, let me go to actually this drop rates banner here.
May new beginnings become your strength.
When you're going for actual heroes that are like featured, for example, they're 5-star innate. Yes, it's really good to pull them. 5-star base heroes have a 6% increase in their just base stats. So overall, they should be stronger, but it's 6%, not a totally make it or break it. You can see the gacha rates here; they are quite low. But again, like I said, 3-star heroes can take out endgame content. The game's focus is more of you to grind and make the hero good, not what you pull. So if you're free to play and you don't pull a 5-star on every banner, you don't need to cry about it. In fact, some of my guild members who are free to play perform better with 4-star base, 3-star base heroes. Some people actually built 3-star base heroes just to take on certain content in the game. People who play Epic 7 and are watching this video, you know absolutely who I'm talking about. Kiris, which is a 3-star base hero, she is almost like completely meta for Abyss, all the way to Abyss 80, which again, this is an in-game thing. If you're new, you don't know what I'm talking about. For hunts, you have like Tyranno Guard, Alexa, a ton of 3-star heroes that actually, you know, make you perform better overall. So there's absolutely no excuse for people to actually, you know, be salty. Oh, I can't pull a 5-star hero, so I'm not gonna play this game. You really just haven't enjoyed it. Like I said, this top 10 is supposed to help you realize why you should be playing it, and it should not just be about the summon rates. You should feel happy though because of the rare rates. You should be really happy when you pull a 5-star unit though. There are things like this. If you click on this bear dude on the side with this table, it's called connections. These are obtainable heroes you can get for free. Some of them are still pretty top tier, and you can get them for free. The only drawback is that you have to grind it. So if you're a free-to-play player completely and you couldn't get those heroes, you can actually grind them for free. Only one of them in here is a 5-star base hero, which is down here, Yuna, and she's still pretty good. She has a pretty decent kit. Everyone else is free and is pullable in usual circumstances. But again, no excuses for you not to get them. I didn't want to say this. 4-star heroes some of them are as good as 5-star heroes, and the thing is, in this game we have a thing called specialty changes. Specialty changes is for 3-star heroes that the developers have created for a specialty change. They come as a 3-star, come with the regular 3-star kits, and generally the 3-stars, a lot of people don't want to invest in 3-stars just because of their rarity, because they're not rare, so they don't find that they want to do it. But people who play Epic 7 for at least even a month, maybe not even, you start realizing that some of the 3-star base who have specialty changes have become meta changing, at least even perform better than some 5-stars. So for example, this Church of Eros Axe, we call him Axe Man, or some people call him Axe God rather. They have specialty changes, and when you specialty change them, they transform. You can see in the silhouette there, it looks completely different from this little wimp. He becomes a jacked up Hulk guy. This guy as well, Ricarus, he's recent and also become really good. Just a really quick example, if I go to the arena, I'm pretty sure I can show you guys specialty change heroes. So here, I'm just gonna refresh here, and I'm pretty sure in here we'll have some specialty. So here, this guy, this wolf dude, his name is Ruzid. Now I'm actually surprised they don't have Falconer. Oh, they do have Falconer Cleary. So this wolf guy, he received a specialty change, and he's a really amazing hero for what we call CR boosting, and he can buff and debuff as well. And here, this one is meta, a meta knight. This girl called Falconer Cleary down here with the falcon, the green one, absolutely annoying to fight and is almost on 90% of defense teams in arena. She's also really good in PvE, so if you're not a arena heavy player, she actually is like almost always used for almost every single content, minus some content here and there. So it's pretty crazy that if you are free to play, you actually have almost as good as a fighting chance as someone who is a complete whale. Okay, so let me double check on the chat here. Oh, Tara corrected me. He's like, she's not meta, she's OP. She's OP. And she's also a 3-star. So yes, at this moment in the game, all specialty change heroes are 3-star base heroes. You have to pull the 3-star base heroes, which is relatively easy when you're chasing some 5-star heroes, and then you just have to grind for them and the specialty change. The specialty change heroes, actually I'm going to quickly show as well. You do need to grind a bit, which actually kind of leads us to our next top reason. I'm going to show you to Cleary here. Really quickly, specialty change heroes have a thing called skill trees, and skill trees are unique to them at this point in the game. Now I don't know, the developers are really good at always updating the game. I'm not quite sure, maybe later on there'll be 4-star specialty change, I'm not quite sure, but at the moment 3-star specialty change is so OP, I don't see any 4-stars getting specialty changes in the future, at least not too soon. These skill trees, every single one of them have a special one, and when you enhance them, you have to farm these runes for it. When you enhance them, they give you benefits to them, and it really makes up, and overly makes up, for that 6% stat buff that a 4-star hero has. That a 5-star hero has. They actually become stronger. Yeah, but that's all. They're laughing that she's ungeared. Yeah, she's totally OP, guys, but she's totally ungeared. Yeah, I just haven't geared her. So number 4 for me, number 4 reason is that there is a ton of content. You know what, guys? I'm getting tired of hiding in the shadows about this. Okay, so the previous game I was playing was FFBE. Okay, no bashing it. Just to compare the two, it was lacking a couple of things that Epic 7 really fulfilled for me. So one of them is content. The amount of content in this game is almost is almost too much. I put them in my notes here, and I put it in a question mark. Too much content. The reason is because if you have like a full-time job, or you're in school full-time, and you play other games, or you have a social life, you're not really going to actually be able to grind the game to its full extent. It's actually quite hard. That's how much content is there. So I would say that, you know, for me, it's actually a good thing. It's a bonus. That this is definitely a top reason. And I know a lot of players who are my friends and who are my friends and did play Epic 7 dropped off because they said, oh, it's too grindy. I just think that they haven't spent enough time digesting the grind and enjoying the grind, because even though it is grindy, it's very rewarding. But I'll get to that part later. That's my top 5. That's my number 5. So anyways, tons of content. So there are like different things here. If you click on the battle, the sword here, and you go in, there's a tons of stuff for you to do. There are challenge events like once every 2 weeks. You can grind like different either free heroes. Again, you can get free heroes from it, and they're actually pretty good. You can grind artifacts, which is an essential part of the game that actually makes or breaks your heroes and your units. There's things like Abyss. So Abyss here is a linear progression power check sort of content. You get good rewards from it too, but I would call them more like they're boss battles. So you have to spend more time on it. So the boss battles also have more HP. There's also more strategy going into it, like timing your heroes, bringing the right artifacts, bringing the right rolls for them. And this thing is designed very well. Early on, Terror was telling me that it's designed so well that it's obvious that this can go up to, right now it's floor 90, but you can tell because it's in a linear progression and there's no end to it, it's infinitely expandable. So it can go up to floor 500, 1000. You have no idea how long this is. Obviously, it's determines how long this game will last. You cannot redo them, but you do collect awesome rewards for one go, so it really pushes you forward. Now, if you can't, let's say, take on a certain floor, you can do a thing called Purification. Purification will consume your daily 3 passes for the Abyss and give you rewards back. So like if you can't make it this week, you know, you're still grinding, you get some gold back, you get some stigma back, which is currency for something else. I don't want to talk about that in here. There are spirit altars in this game. You have different elements for your heroes which need awakenings, and awakenings need these thing called runes that drop. Okay, the runes drop and you use them to awaken, and once you awaken, then your hero gets stronger. Their skills also get an enhancement. Okay, different elements. And then on the weekends for 2 days, on Saturday and Sundays, all altars open. Otherwise it goes from Monday to Friday in order, so you kind of have to time your altar runs. So sometimes you don't need to do them, but sometimes you really want to farm them. It depends. And then we also have these things called hunts. Lately they've added a 4th hunt. Hunts are for gearing your units. So you hunt them to get craftable materials or even equipment drops from the bosses. But you get craftable crafting materials, which you can craft your own gear. Every single boss drops a specific set for your hero. So farming a different boss is important for gearing up a specific hero or specific role that you want to do. Each boss has their own, of course, niches, and each hunt stage also has their own difficulties. It's not just like increased damage, increased HP, but rather their skill sets also change. So it makes it very challenging and makes it very fun. One of the things that end game players aim for or strive for is what they call 3-man teams or even 2-man teams. Being able to handle a boss on auto, you can auto it. With 3-man teams means you can level up what we call fodder as you're hunting for crafting materials and epic drops and awesome drops. That's a whole other thing that I think new players won't need to know right now. We also have a thing called the Labyrinth. Labyrinth tokens get refreshed once per day, capped at 3. So you don't want it to expire. Labyrinths are like maze-like things you run a party in, and you can collect drops, currency for specific things, and also just to grind like experience, etc. Some of the most top tier gear have been in these labyrinths, and lately, in a couple months for now, we've gotten this thing called a raid. Also uses the labyrinth compass or the labyrinth passes. You need 2 of them to enter, and if you can complete all the bosses, you can enter hell difficulty, because you get this hell difficulty entrance thing called the malicious bug charm. The hell difficulty is pretty good as well. It drops like the best, absolutely highest level gear at the moment, and again, this is more end game player kind of farming. So there's a ton of content you want to do. And then of course every single week we get, every 2 weeks, and sometimes there's overlapping, we do get what we call side stories. Side stories features the hero that's on banner that week with really good drop rates, really good missions, and really good rewards. That's like one of the most fun things. Generally people complete it by week 1, the full thing. You get these things called reputations. So reputation is basically, as long as you run like multiple instances of it, you get these rewards from it. So you want to run it a couple times, and then you farm for currency to exchange for stuff that you would need in the game. It's very content heavy, and not only that, if you are a new player, you are doing a lot of catch up, and you are trying to complete what we call the adventure or the main story line. In the adventure, you start off in normal difficulty. I'm going to zoom out here, and you try to complete all of this. You complete it to 10, chapter 10-10, and oh, actually got a region reward. Nice. Got some sky stuff. You complete it to 10-10, and then you unlock a whole other thing called world difficulty, which of course it's higher difficulty, but like better drop rates on some of the late game items that you'll need. So again, I'm almost even running out of breath just telling you about how much content there is. And if you play Epic 7 long enough, one of the most most important things is to grind for gear. So that was my number 4, and number 5, I would say top 5 reason is that it is grindy. Now, again, I've heard people say that, oh, that's actually bad, it's too grindy. Well, do you really want to play a game where you're done by day 1? So again, in the previous game I was playing, the way you get your best units is to pull like four of the same hero, 4 of the same unit. Once you get 4 of them, you can complete this like awesome epic gear, and then that's it. So basically, generally at the time, when you pull that unit on the first day of the banner release, you can get your best in slot, strongest unit right away. If you want to do that, that's fine. But in this game, you don't get that. You don't get that whatsoever. You need to take a lot of time to grind. And the thing is, arguably speaking, most Epic 7 players will say this, you never really complete your hero. So let me just show it. I have no hero that I considered are considered like finished. There can only be near finished, but there's always room for improvement. So all this gear is max enhanced. I got decent stats, and it depends on what content you want to use that hero for. Sometimes you want to do it for a PvP, PvE content. You have to also, kind of equip them a bit differently. It just depends how hardcore you can get. So, the gear grind is endless, and I would say, again, my number 5 reason is because of the grind. The grind to me is not, meaningless. It's rewarding, and that's why I want to say that this is the number 5 reason that the grind is good, is because it's rewarding. Once you get a hero that you really like, and you're collecting the pieces for him, and you're enhancing it, and you're looking at the stats grow, you just have a really good time of seeing like, oh, this hero is done for now, and then you move on to like another hero, and you work on their gears, and you keep doing that. And the thing about this is like, some people could say that, well, that's very repetitive, but what game isn't repetitive to some extent? The thing about this is that every single gear enhancement rolls a random stat, random substat. So you can never really get exactly what you want, right? It's just They're just like, you keep showing Luna A, so for the jiggle physics, these guys. So anyways, that is my you know, kind of brief mention of this. I want to say one last thing about the grind is there's a thing called epic catalyst in this game. Without getting too far into it, to get the most benefit from your hero, you need to enhance their skills. So skill also has enhancements. These enhancements require very rare commodities called a Malagora. I made a video on this on YouTube, so if you want to search this up, Malagora, and just search my name, you'll get it. I'll talk about like how you get them, why they're rare, who you should invest in, what you should be doing before you start investing. But these things called catalysts, so you can see this path power loop on top there. Catalysts are hard to drop, and then there's a thing called epic catalyst. So this nightmare mask, you can see that's a really cool shape there on top. They're really rare to drop. Epic catalysts are extremely rare, so a lot of the times when you're grinding the regular adventure, because that's generally the place you drop epic catalysts. So you're grinding hunts for gear, you're grinding story for the epic catalyst, you're grinding the events for the rewards, you're grinding altars for your specialty changes, for your awakenings of heroes to enhance them. It's just insane. I can't believe a lot of these guys in my guild have been like, they're way farther than me, and I already think I grind a lot. I don't even know. So these are the continents. I mean, look at this. Look at this. So we came from Retinia here. So there are all these continents planned out. But anyways, I do want to talk about that later in the rest of my top 10. So I think I'm gonna end that there. This has been a very long one. That's only top 5 of my top 10. So this top 10 part 1. So hopefully, you know, if you guys are new and you guys are watching this, hopefully you do try this out. And of course, you guys can always check out my Discord community filled with really smart guys, really friendly guys. As you see on the stream, these guys always joke, right? Making me laugh, making me screw up, man. You guys make me screw up my train of thought, man. I'm just kidding. I really love those guys. If you guys want to check it out, the Discord community is really good, very helpful. They have, like, you know, all the links to the best resources. They're always studied up on this game. So if you're new, don't be intimidated. There's a lot of stuff to cover, but there's a lot to enjoy. If you spend the time in it, I really do think that this game is worthwhile. Like I said, the quality of this game is just absolutely amazing, but I'll touch upon that in the next part of the top 10. So if you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.